Morning to you folks. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning in Dublin after that storm yesterday. Look at that. I love this view. Normally you can see Killiney and Dunleary clearer and the mountains. I actually, God forgive me, I actually have a pet thing I'd love to do when I go into people's houses, especially on the south side. I actually love to go up when they're showing me around the house. I love to peek my head outside of their Velux window and see what view they have. I've got a good view, but the funny thing is, I was obsessed. And then one of my pals got a great view. He lives in Glenageary, but what I didn't realise was one of the best views I ever saw was actually a house up in. It was out near All Hallows, near Griffith Avenue, and they were perched up high. Sure, the guy had the best view, and there I was looking at this outside thinking we had, but the guy was perched up so high, he had a great view all the way down the coast. It was unbelievable. So, just in terms of perceptions and realities,
turn left onto Strand Road, R131.
That wasn't great. So one of the things that for me is just talked about perceptions and realities there, and for me it is controlling costs and the perception on the reality of that. And what I also find is that if that doesn't happen very early in the project mindset and getting to terms with that and getting very rigid at that stage. So people have a budget, then they get a cost plan. Invariably, the cost plan starts to creep up and there's difficult conversations. But what happens is we don't know the structural formation. You're guessing, no matter how good the architect's drawings are at that stage, usually there is not an engineering drawing. So, engineering scope. So what you find is extra steel comes in, pads come in, steel columns come in, steel beams come in, reinforcements, studs go from studs, structural studs, extra plywood on the studs is needed, reconfigurations of walls, different thicknesses of walls. So that's often a hidden one. PC sums that are expanded upon, that's also usually where the two cost variants go from cost plan to when tenders come in, plus there is an inflationary amount added in by the contractors because of the duration between cost plan planning and then tenders. I also make it a part of my services that when I get the bill of quantities done to go to tender, I actually reprice the document as well myself based upon current market forces. I work for one or two builders, but predominantly homeowners, and what I do at that stage is because I work for builders and homeowners, I'm getting information flow in both directions. So then I do a bill of quantities priced up, and then we go to tender, and then even if we get low tenders amount, then at least I have an established baseline that I can compare theirs against if we only get 2 or 3 tenders. And at the moment, builders are not returning a lot of tenders. You may go with 5 or 6 tenders, you may have them vetted, but you'll probably only get 2 or 3, if you're lucky, 3. So it's really important to have a price bill of quantities as well. But what's also hidden is, in all of this, is the mindset that a cost plan builds. It focuses the mind on finishes, focuses the mind on escalations, focuses the mind on your PC sums, your solar panels. Maybe you only put the wiring for the solar panels there. Maybe you so there's loads of choices there that you have, that you can maybe go for less expensive kitchen. Maybe you can afford more, you go for more expensive flooring, but it's actually getting cost controls, and the mindset is that's cost controls even before you actually then get on site and get a tender agreement. So you're getting alignment all the time, and with escalating costs, this is absolutely vital to do it. And it becomes the project organization, and it becomes the culture of the project once you go into that. And then your aim is then to bring the contractor and to align the contractor along with you, and to make it favourable for him to have victories as well. And there has to be a contingency in there. There has to be. The reality is every single project has variations. Variations due to design that do not match site conditions coming out of the ground, drainage issues, foundation issues, sewerage issues, can be roofing issues further up. So there's multiplicities of possible variations. Some of them are site-led, some of them are engineering discoveries, and some of them are client-led. And there has to be a contingency. In my experience, you're kind of in the region 3 to 5% in variations, and that has to be built in as an expected reality for the project. So what I'm trying to say is, it's like anything, you need to have a roadmap where you're going to go. You need to know how you're going to finish up. You need to bring people along the journey, and especially a contractor. I've got one client at the moment, and she's already off-siding the contractor. Just go, it just doesn't go well. You have to have a bigger holistic view about winning the war, not individual battles, and everybody has to come together. So it is about forming a conscious mindset about cost control, and this is best to kick off with the cost plan. But in reality, it actually isn't. It's best to be kicked off at the design stage, and even fundamental conversations with the architect about per square meter rates to get an indicative. This is best to be done at the cost stage, because even by the time that a guy like me comes along, or female quantity surveyor, of which there's loads, and they're absolutely awesome. One girl, she's a very, very funny girl. She loves working against me. She's a very, very funny girl. She's as sharp as anything. So there's loads of good quantity surveyors out there, but the reality is we're often behind the 8 ball. Decisions can already be made at the design stage, and sometimes difficult conversations need to be had. I'm doing one project at the moment, and I can see where just site conditions aren't going with the client, and I may actually need to even propose that they hold off building part of their house for further later on, or do external works later on, or change some of the finishes. So even as we go through things, there has to be options, because we need capacity, and you also need capacity mentally, physically, emotionally as well as you go through it. So the mindset is cost control. It happens early, but it should even be happening earlier with the actual architects themselves. Okay, thanks guys. I know I don't get many views, but an awful lot of this is just about clearing my head and getting things straight in my head, and it's also helping me to then articulate them as I'm doing a couple of books, because I just find I'm having the same conversations with people, and it just aligns alignment and clarification which is also what I'm trying to do in my project as well. You can even see here, since we came, this is lifting. God, that storm was crazy yesterday, and the traffic is all around the port was crazy. Okay, talk to you. Take care, guys. Bye.